Aloha artists, Miss Maggie here. Did you have fun drawing landscapes last week? I know I did. We are going to draw another landscape this week, this time of your favorite place on Maui. Do you remember the different parts of a landscape? We've got the foreground, which is up close and down low, the middle ground, that is a little bit further up and a little bit in the middle, and the background that is the farthest away and the highest up on your paper. Let's see what supplies we're going to need for today's art project. You are going to want a small drawing paper, and we are going to be doing oil pastels, so a scrap paper to go over your table is great to help keep things clean. This one I've used for a couple things already, which makes it perfect. And a pencil and eraser and a Sharpie. And as I said, we are going to do oil pastels today. And the last thing is, if you have a photo of your favorite place on the island, that is a good thing to look at. But if you don't worry, we're going to go there in our imaginations anyways. Okay, so go get your supplies: small drawing paper, scrap paper, pencil, Sharpie, eraser, and oil pastels. And oh, I forgot one thing. A paper towel is very useful for when you do oil pastels. So get yourself a paper towel. Okay, I'll see you in a moment. Before we get drawing, let's see what we know about landscapes. Here I am in the foreground, and I am large, and my feet start down at the bottom of the picture, but I'm so big that my head is up near the top. Now see what happens when I start moving into the middle ground? I'm getting smaller, but also my feet are farther from the bottom. I am moving into the middle ground. And then I get so far away. Look how tiny I am. Did I shrink? What's going on here? No, I'm just in the background now. And now I'm moving forward, and I am getting larger, and my feet are getting closer to the bottom. And here I am back up close. See, I'm still just as large as before. It just depends on how close or far away I am. Take a look at this landscape drawing here. Do you see the person, the dog, and the tree in the foreground? They're really large, aren't they? They're up close. All of them started down at the bottom of the paper. That's where their feet are, or the roots of the tree, but they're so big they go up to the top. The person in the tree anyways. Look in the middle ground. Do you see the person and the dog there? They shrunk, didn't they? And the mountains in the background, if I was standing next to the real mountains, they would be so large. Right now, they look like they are smaller than the tree, but that's just because they're far away. Things look smaller when they're far away. Let's look at one more artwork before we start our drawing. How about this landscape here? Do you see the boy walking with the orange boogie board? Is this boy in the foreground, middle ground, or background? What do you think? He's in the foreground, isn't he? How can you tell? What about the person catching a wave on their boogie board? Are they in the foreground, middle ground, or background? What makes it so you know? Now, look at this picture here. What's different? What did I change? Why does it look so weird? Are the people the same size? They are, aren't they? But did I change where they are in the picture? That affects things, doesn't it? So remember, if your person is in the foreground, they might be big, but they are low down. And if you have something that's in the middle ground, then they're smaller, but they're in the middle, right? Okay, let's use what we know in our landscapes today. I love taking my art supplies all over Maui. I sit at the beach and I draw and paint. I go up to Haleakala and draw and paint. I go out into the rainforest and draw and paint. Where is your favorite place to go on Maui? I would love to see a landscape showing that. I was thinking, where am I going to go in my landscape today? And I remembered how much fun I have drawing at Waihe'e. And if you're in the first grade, you probably drew with me there last year. Wasn't that fun? And if you're in kindergarten, I know you will get to do that in the future. It is such a beautiful wetland next to the beach. Here is a painting I did of the beach looking back at Haleakala. I'm going to be inspired by that view, but I want you to imagine where your favorite place is, okay? So, right now, I want you to close your eyes to draw your special place on Maui. You are going to go there in your imagination. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine this place. Feel the air. Is there a breeze? Is there sun on your skin? What can you hear while you're there? And imagine the foreground of this place. What is close by, like you could reach out and touch it, or is a couple steps away? Are there rocks? Are there bushes? Are there trees? What are the details that make the bushes, rocks, or trees, or whatever's there special to this place? So it's not just any tree, but that specific one. And now, what is in the middle ground? What is a little bit farther away, but you can still see it? And what makes this place special with that? Is there ocean? Are there other trees? Are there buildings? What do you notice? And finally, what is in the background? What is far away? Can you see a mountain? Can you see an island? Is there ocean? Are there clouds? Notice the details that make your place so special. And open your eyes. And if you have a photo of this place, you can use those details too. But either way, you have it now in your heart and in your mind, and let's create some art. So let's set up our paper so it's easy to find the foreground, middle ground, and background again. Do you remember how we did that last week with these two fingers? I'm going to put them on the edges of my drawing paper and see, can I make a space that is the same size here, here, and here? I think that looks pretty even. So I'm going to make some little marks. And then on this side, same thing, same lines across, even, even, even. And so where are those two marks? There and there. Great. Now, if I have those marks, then I can do them across here. Remember how we're making the lightest line we can across? I made mine a little darker than normal even because I want you to be able to see it. But make your lines so light you can barely see it. Okay? Okay, so down here we have what part? The foreground. Then the middle ground. And finally the background. Okay, go back into your imagination and remember, what did you see in your foreground? The foreground of your favorite place on the island. For me, I have a beach with some small waves rolling up and some rocks on the beach. So that's what's going to be in my foreground. And so because I am up close to them, those rocks are going to be large. And so they're not going to be little pebbles. They're going to be pretty good size. And some of those rocks are overlapping each other. Okay, and of course sometimes there's a little pebble next to the rocks. And so I have some rocks there, and I have a lot of rocks over in this area, and some of them are starting to go into the middle ground because there are rocks over there too. Okay, so I have that, and I see that the wave is coming up, and so there is this line here, and that's going to start in the foreground and go into the middle ground. Imagine your favorite place on the island. Is there anything like that that starts in the foreground and then goes into the middle ground? For me, I've got this coastline coming along, and see that wiggly line. It starts down here, and it's like a diagonal, but it has wiggles in it. And then I have this line here of the wave breaking, and that's starting to go into the middle ground actually. I see that that's going to be a wiggly line, but see how I drew just a little guideline first? Sometimes I do that. Ooh, and I see that that changes down there at the end. I'm starting into my middle ground. Let's stop and think about our middle ground, because you might be doing somewhere different than me. Go back into your imagination. What did you see in the middle ground? What special details did you notice that you can draw? Okay, make it so that by the details you draw, we can tell where you are. Okay, so I've got my waves, and I have a tree that's on its side, some logs there. I see some rocks. You see how these rocks are smaller? They're farther away. Okay, and then I see that there are some trees here. Now, before I add any more of those trees, I see a really important line. Do you see that long, straight line there? That's the horizon. If your favorite place is anywhere by the beach, I bet there is a horizon in yours. That is where the ocean ends, and then the sky begins, and in some cases there's still land above it too, but it's the land that's farther away. So I see that my horizon line is on the edge of the middle ground and the background. Okay, I see that these trees here, I think they're still in the middle ground. They're connected to these, but they're definitely going up higher into the background, but their roots aren't in the background. Their roots are in the middle ground, so that makes them middle ground trees. So they still have some details, and I can see, and I remember in my memory as well, that the trees down there, they get a lot of wind, and so they have all their leaves on one side of the tree because of the wind that's blowing. Think about that. If you have a tree in your picture, does it look like that? Does that tell us about the tree? Not really. What about like that? Does that tell us a whole lot about the tree still? Think about what the tree really is like so we know which tree it is. If we go to your place, we might even be able to pick out the tree. Does it have a trunk that is on its side? Does it have branches that go out in different directions? Does it have a branch that hangs down low? Or does it have leaves that hang down low? Or does it just go really high, reaching for the sky? Does the wind move those leaves in different directions? What is it that makes any of the trees or plants or bushes in your artwork one of a kind? Okay, think about that. I can see that some of them are even just sticks here. And I'm using a little bit of my imagination, a little bit of my observation, my ability to look at this picture. See, I did that one there, kind of, but then I see that there's that little stick one there, and there's some more bushes there, and then there's sort of this point of land over here on the right on the horizon. It's on the edge of the middle ground and background. It's actually up over into the background, but its roots are kind of going into the middle ground. So it's right on the edge. But do you see what really is in the background in my artwork? Haleakala, going up and behind. I'm going to make that go up, 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 and then it starts to go down behind those trees. What is in the background in your artwork? Look at your photo or go into your imagination and find those details. What is that distant view like? Are there any mountains? What shape are those mountains? If it's the West Maui Mountains and you don't have a photo, maybe you can see it from your window and see what it really looks like. Same thing with Haleakala. Think about the shapes of those mountains because they're very different. Or maybe you can see an island out on the horizon like Lanai or Kaho'olawe. Also, are there any clouds? I can see in my picture that there are some clouds there going around, not covering the summit, but going around the summit, and a little bit right there. Yes, but is the sun in my drawing? No, it isn't. Does that mean it's nighttime? No, I can see that the sun is lighting up the world. So I'm not going to draw the sun. If I had a real sun right there, I couldn't even look that way, right? If you try to look towards the sun, it's too bright. So don't put the sun in your picture. Show us the details that let us know what type of day it is by how you draw the landscape. And now I'm going to Sharpie it, okay? So you Sharpie yours and then erase and we'll color. Remember, take your time. You can pause the video to do so and touch the paper as lightly as you can with the Sharpie. That will make a nice thin line and keep it so that your Sharpie has a pointy tip. Take your time. Show off those beautiful lines that you drew. Okay, I'm going to erase. Remember how I use the eraser? I put my hand down on one part and then I press like this. If I pull like this, I'm going to wrinkle my artwork, but if I hold and press away, it'll be okay. Ooh, even if it gets away, it should be safe enough. And there we go. There's my finished drawing. Next, we get to color. We are going to use oil pastels today. They might look like this, they might look like this, there's other types too, but they're not crayons. They're very different because they blend really well. So today we are going to do a lot of blending colors. I'm going to look at different parts of my artwork and figure out what colors I'm going to put in there together. You might be doing a different landscape view, so you'll be thinking about your view and what colors go in there. I'm going to start with the sand. And as you see, that sandy color, well, it's not yellow. It's not really that color either. And it's not really a brown. There's a little bit of brown in there. And you might have a tan type color. That would be useful. But you also might not. And so pick all the colors out that are close, and let's also take our white. The white is really useful for this sort of thing. And you also want to check your colors that they are clean. White especially needs to be kept clean with your paper towel. For the sand, I am going to put in the colors that I see. And what's interesting is that all these colors are in there. And so I'm going to put the colors in wherever they are, but I don't have to cover everywhere right now because I'm going to layer them in. So you see how I'm putting one color over the next and it creates new colors. Wow, isn't that lovely? I'm trying to not go over my rocks because they're not this color, but I'm getting the areas close up to them that are sandy. So if you have a sandy area, you might want to try this. If you are coloring a different type of area in your picture, still think, what are all the colors that go in there? For instance, if it is a green area, is it really just one green? Or is it a lot of different colors in there with the green? Look and notice all the colors that you see. And let me show you one more thing that's going to be really great with these oil pastels is white. A lot of times I will go over what I do with white, and that is blending all those colors together. So now they really are connecting, and they are also getting a little bit lighter, which I kind of like for this beach area. Wonderful. For dark areas, I'm not going to really use much white, but for light areas, white is a wonderful blender. There we go. Oh, wow. Look at that sandy beach. How is yours coming along? I'm going to do the other main thing in my foreground, the rocks. Now, if you have something in your artwork that's really dark, you might be tempted to use black, but black takes over. So instead of black, I'm going to show you some other colors you might want to use. For the rocks, I do think I want a brown for them. See how I'm putting my other oil pastels away? But I'm also going to take this dark purple here. Very dark purple. And you know what? These rocks, I see that some areas are lighter, like there is some sunlight hitting on them. Ooh, I think that's going to be a good color for them. And I might use a little bit of white too. So, let's see those rocks. One side of those rocks always seems to be darker than the other side. Do you see that? How the rocks are darker and then lighter? I'm going to use my oil pastels hard and soft. I'm going to use the purple and then the brown and then a little bit of the orange and a little bit of the white, and they are starting to look amazing. One of the things with oil pastels is that we are going to work on filling in our artwork all the way. That means that we're not leaving any white. And so that's why we've got this paper underneath so that my coloring can go right off the edge without making a big mess. Sound good? Okay. Oh, I love how that's looking. I think I'm ready for the next part. I want to do some of the ocean. Yes, cleaning off my oil pastels, putting them away. Now, in the ocean, I see some wonderful blues. I see some green in there. There are some dark areas, so I think I might do a little purple. And down in here, I'm going to do this part too, which has a lot of blues, but they're lighter. So I'm definitely going to need that white again. So I'm going to try using this blue very hard. In some areas, let it be bold. But also down here, I can go lightly with it. See how I'm going very lightly? Whatever area you're doing, try your oil pastels, both hard and soft. See how that's different. So up here, I'm adding that turquoise in, and I'm going hard, and then I'm going to use it down here and go soft. Oh, very nice. I like that. And I need some green, especially up in some of these areas, just a little bit mixing in. And I see a lot of purple actually down in those shadows. A little bit of purple, not hard, just soft. And a little bit over here too. See how it's darker there? Interesting. Okay. And then let's do some white. Let's let this blend. See, in this lighter area, now I'm going to go hard with the white and really let it fill in. I'm using less of the other colors, but lots of the white. And ooh, look at that. And the waves need the white too. Let's give those waves some white. And then over here, I need just a little bit of white maybe. Some areas need some white. Ooh, over there's a little bit lighter. If I want somewhere lighter, then I put in the white. If you want it light, put in the white. And I need those waves on the horizon to have some white too. Ooh, I like that. You know what I notice about this area? I think it needs some of that sandy color in there, just a little bit. You can always layer more colors back over where you put the white. Oil pastels love to be layered. Wow! Oh my goodness, this is coming out beautifully. How is yours? I am going to be so excited to see it. Before I move on, I'm cleaning off my oil pastels, making sure they are clean for the next part, putting away the ones I am done with. I'm going to do the trees now though, so I do need that green. But I don't think it's just green. It has some dark areas too. Ooh, I bet green and purple will mix very nicely together. I do need some light green too. And are those the main colors that I need? I think maybe a little bit of brown as well. So let's do those colors. Maybe I'll need a little bit of white. We'll see. But I'm definitely not doing just this green. That color's in there, but it looks best when it is mixed with other colors too. So I'm going to do this green, but I'm going to do it lightly. And some areas are going to have more of it than others. I bet there are parts of the trees, wherever your picture is of, that have sunlight or more light on them anyways, and other parts that are in shadow. Those are the areas that are darker. See how I'm using this light green? That is where the sunlight is hitting. And so that is going to be lighter. And then watch what happens when I have green down here and then I put purple on top. Look how dark that green is getting. Ooh, wow. That makes the other green look even brighter. I think it needs some blue in there too. Yeah, and a little bit more green in there. Blue, green, purple, all mixed together there. And then a little bit of brown too.
Okay, yes, I'm going to keep bringing those interesting colors up, mixing green, blue, purple, and brown for different types of dark greens, and then light greens, yellow and white, and all sorts of light colors for where the sunlight is hitting my greens. Those variations of green, dark and light, is going to make all of my living, growing things look beautiful.
Ooh, isn't that fun? Oh my goodness, I love it when we have greens mixing with other colors. Where in your artwork have you mixed green with other colors to make your plants amazing? Now, I've got my foreground and my middle ground done. I'm ready for my background. What do you notice when you look at something that is far off in the distance, in the background? Are the colors softer? Less dark darks and light lights, more sort of purpley blue, gray, brown, very soft green colors that all blend together? Yeah, let's do that. So, think about your background. What colors are going to be in there? I think definitely some purple and blue, maybe a little green, maybe a little brown, definitely some white. So, like before, I am going to go soft with my oil pastels because I'm going to use a lot of white. Some blue in there, some purple in there, and a little brown maybe, and a little green. Let's do white to blend that together. Yes, blending, blending, blending. Ooh, look at that interesting color we made by going over it with white. Check that out. Very nice. Ooh, I like that. And now I'm gonna do the sky. Again, is the sky a really deep blue like this, or is it a soft one? Let's do our blue lightly, just some blue in there, and think, are there any other colors in your sky? Maybe your sky is a different time of day and it's not blue. You know better than me for your artwork, right? But you can still pick up on how I'm doing this, how I'm going lightly, because now I'm gonna go over it with white. Blend it with that white right off the edges. That's part of what makes oil pastels so great, is that you can really fill everything in. Okay, and then that cloud, I've got white in there and little bits of other colors. And I'm gonna fill that in, fill it in, fill it in, fill it in. Don't go into the leaves, because then we'll end up with green in our cloud. But I think it's just about there. Little bit of shadow there, a little bit darker. You can see you can do purple on top of the other colors. You can blend again and again, as much as you feel like. And I think it's done. Oh, wonderful. How did yours come out? I would love to see an oil pastel landscape of your favorite place on Maui. Here is your reflection question. Today, we went in our imagination to our favorite places on Maui and drew landscapes. What do you love about this place on Maui, and how did you show it in your artwork? I can't wait to hear it. Make sure that you take care of your oil pastels. Clean them all off, put them back in your set. Sometimes oil pastels break. Just keep all the pieces, they're still good, and put them away safely. Take a photo of your artwork, share it with your teacher online, share it with me. I love seeing them, and put it up in your home so that it can make your family happy. Okay, we'll make more art together next week. A hui ho!